everyone, and welcome back to the Deserts and Garden podcast. I'm Nathan, and this is my wife, Mia.
If you're new here on this podcast, we share our daily highs and lows. This is not just a highlight reel, but the reality of navigating marriage, faith, and our life together with God's guidance every step of the way.
And today's episode is all about something foundational for marriage. It's called love banks.
Yeah, so love banks is a concept from the book His Needs, Her Needs. It's a simple yet powerful way to think about your relationship. So we'll be breaking this episode into 3 sections, as we do. Number 1, what love banks are and how they work. Second is why keeping those love banks full matters daily.
Yeah, so let's grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's dive in.
Yeah, so picture it this way. Everyone has a love bank with different accounts for each relationship in their life, whether that's your coworker, your mom, your dad, your sister, your kid, or your spouse. Every positive interaction, whether that's a thoughtful gesture, a compliment, or just being present, acts as a deposit. Now, on the contrary, any negative interactions are like withdrawals.
Yeah, and here's the thing. When your love bank is high, minor irritations just glide on by like a smooth road.
Yeah.
And when things are low, like the balance is low, suddenly every little thing feels like a crisis. Your world is melting down.
It's like, okay, so back to the love bank picture. If you're thinking about a bank account, if you're rich and somebody spends $10 on your account, it's like,
Yeah, whatever.
Easy breezy, got plenty of money. We don't have that problem. Yeah. But if you're like us and you only have, a little bit of money in your account and someone swipes a card, it's like, you spent $10 at Starbucks? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what is this?
It's like everything then becomes a crisis. Everything is an issue. You're like hyper-focused on every single transaction. And that's essentially the concept of love banks. It's like driving a car with no gas in the tank. Like, you're not going to get far, and every single thing builds frustration. It builds so quickly. It's like everything is a crisis. And we see in Proverbs 27:19, the Bible says, as water reflects the face, so one's life reflects the heart. So if our hearts aren't full of love, our marriage will reflect that in how we treat each other, and how we communicate, and how we handle conflict.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be real, sometimes I don't even realize I'm making withdrawals. Sometimes I'm sarcastic, I make a comment or just general lack of attention.
Yeah.
Being on autopilot, all those things add up to withdrawals.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm constantly saying, I'm not one of your bros.
Yeah, all the time. And that's why being aware is so important.
Yeah. Yeah. So on to the more serious part here is when your love banks stay low for too long, that is when the enemy is able to creep in and get a foothold. Yeah. A coworker, a friend, or someone else might start making deposits and, your spouse isn't, and that's where we start entering the danger zone.
Yeah, I mean, back to that whole, bank account analogy.
Yeah.
If you're struggling paycheck to paycheck and it's just you and your spouse in there, and all of a sudden someone comes along and here's $100.
Yeah, Mr. Monopoly.
Here's 50. Here's $500. Whatever it is, it's like that feels kind of good.
Yeah.
Now you can spend that $10 at Starbucks and you're not sweating it so much. And they're listening to you and they're paying attention. That can lead to at a minimum emotional affairs, and if not worse, a physical affair. Mm-hmm. And it's not about being paranoid. It's about protecting what's most important.
Yeah.
So in Ephesians 4:27, it says, do not give the devil a foothold.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Yeah. Do not give the devil a foothold. Neglected marriage gives the enemy the opportunity to stir up discontent and temptation.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not just saying you have to be constantly getting your wife roses and doing these huge, elaborate, big romantic gestures. It's about the small, consistent deposits. That's what matters the most. Like making her coffee in the morning or checking in with her during the day, planning a date night. Like, hey, honey, how are you?
Yeah, absolutely. And think of it like this. A high love bank, it builds momentum. Mm-hmm. You don't get stuck on the minor issues because you have an overflowing of love and grace.
Yeah, it's your emotional safety net, for a lack of better terms. The more you invest in each other, the stronger your marriage is.
Right. So how do we keep these love banks full?
Mm-hmm.
The key here is intentionality. You can't just like set it, forget it. You can't put it on the back burner. It can't be on autopilot. You just can't just let it go and just be like, I'll check on it later.
Yeah, exactly. If you notice that your love bank is running low, don't wait for your spouse to fix it. Yeah. Be okay with being the initiator. Ladies, plan the date. Write a note or even just say, hey, honey, I miss you. Let's talk.
Yeah, and that includes an intimacy. Don't wait for the perfect moment to connect physically. Mm-hmm. Or emotionally. Like, make it a priority and, like, make it a priority right now.
Yeah, the devil loves to get us in bed together before we're married. And then after we're married, it's like anything that the devil could do to get us out of being in bed together, he's going to do. So the Bible says, let each of you not only look to his own interests, but the interests of others. So pursuing your spouse is about putting their needs above your comfort and your pride.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, one thing Mia loves is when I give her non-sexual touches throughout the day.
Yeah.
Like, and that looks like, a shoulder rub, a hug from behind, something that's like, just super loving and super, like, comforting.
Yeah.
And the other thing that we love to do is we love to have long talks. All the time talks. It's simple, but it really does give us time to connect.
Yeah.
And it's also the reason we started this podcast, because we'll sit around for days or hours and just talk.
No, some days we literally sit for hours. But I'll just add this. Communication, especially for women, guys too. I feel like as sassy as you're being about it, you do love communication is huge. So if you're feeling low, don't be petty about it. Like, that's probably my biggest piece of advice. Just be honest. A closed mouth doesn't get fed.
Yeah.
So be honest. Speak up. Hey, hun, I need a little bit more attention, instead of just waiting for them to read your mind.
Yeah, well, because, spoiler alert, mind reading is not a spiritual gift.
Nope.
So let's keep pursuing each other, keep dating each other, and let's not let complacency take over.
Yeah, so just remember that love banks are not a one and done type thing. They are a daily commitment. Dating each other when you're married is so important.
Absolutely. Be intentional, be kind, and protect your marriage by making those deposits.
Yeah, so we would love to hear how you guys are putting these truths into practice in your own marriage. How are you guys dating each other? What are you doing to make deposits in your spouse's love banks? And be sure to comment below. Share your testimonies, be engaging with one another, and let us know what you are looking for from us in some further talks.
Right, and I just want to say thanks for listening to the Desert Garden Podcast. Until next time, walk in love.
Live with purpose
and trust God in every desert and garden.